What's up, new crew? Thanks for clicking. Welcome to another video. In this video, as you can probably guess, it's going to be all about Wltoys. Well, the Wltoys that I have anyway. If you've been watching my channel, you'll see I've done quite a lot of videos on Wltoys, and they're quite cheap, they're quite durable, I quite like them. But people always ask me which one is my favourite or which one should they buy. So I thought what I'd do is I'd get them all together on the table and we'd have a quick go through them. I'm not going to review them all. Obviously I've done reviews on all these cars, so they'll be, if you want to look at the reviews of them, just click one of the other videos I've done and you'll be able to see whichever one you prefer. You'll be able to see a review on that car, see if it's the one for you. This is more going to be about any weaknesses I've found and just sort of my experiences with them, really. So what we'll do is we'll start with the two most obvious. I've got with the exception of this one here, all the other ones are the brushless ones. You can get brush versions of. I'll put a link down below in the description to all of these cars and all of the brush versions as well. By all means get the brush ones, guys. You can find them on a deal, they're probably worth it. But I think for the extra money, the brushless ones are the way to go. So let's start with the first two, the most common two I would say, which is the 144002 and the 124017. These two cars, oh, by the way, if anyone wants to know what the number means, I don't know what the last bits mean, but I've worked out that 144, this is a 144002. The 144 stands for 14th scale four-wheel drive. This is a 124017, so it's 12 is 12 scale and 4 is four-wheel drive. I don't know what the last three mean, but maybe someone else does. Give us a comment down below if you do. But these two cars are probably the most common everyone gets. They're both buggies and they are pretty much identical. The only difference being this one here is longer. As you can see from the two cars there, it's a longer vehicle. But all the parts from this, apart from the chassis and the centre prop shaft, all the parts from this will fit on that and vice versa. So you've got a good array of parts. Talking about parts, you can get parts in the UK now. Probably all over, I think, from Amazon. You can get them all, a lot of them next day, so you know there's no problem with parts really. Weaknesses on these are they don't tend to come with a lot of oil in the diffs. I've never put oil in the diffs of mine because I just prefer to run them as they come to show you guys how they run. I've never had a problem, but I do know they have they lack a bit of grease, so probably if you're going to keep it and it's going to be your own car and you're going to use it all the time, stick some grease in there. The other weak point they have is these little C hubs in here. They tend to break reasonably easily, but you can buy metal upgrade ones for £10 from Amazon. You'll get them next day. Spoilers and spoiler brackets are quite weak. The drive shafts bend fairly easily, but being a brushless version, the brushless motor is quick. I mean, they'll do 40 mile an hour 2S out of the box, 50 mile an hour per 3S in them. They'll take a 3S. And they're pretty reliable. I mean, I say they break and there's the weak points. They're not really weak points. I mean, I launched these off skate ramps. You'll have seen I abuse them. If you use them as a normal sort of car, I'm pretty much sure you'd be all right, to be fair. I don't think there's going to be a lot that's going to break on them. But like most things, everything will break eventually. Rear spoilers can be a bit, well, if you crash them, they're going to break. Let's put it that way. But that's the two of them. They're fairly similar. Now, the 124018, 019, 016, whatever one this one is, the brushless one. The brushed one's a 124018. I think it's a brush 124016. This is the same basic chassis as the 124017, as in it's a bit longer than the 144010. The only difference being it's got this kind of buggy shell on it, and the body is sealed to the chassis. It's got screws along there, not sealed, but it's screwed along there, so you get less dirt into them. And the rear shock absorbers, rather than mounting on the rear suspension mounts, they mount on the side of the body here, so they are a little bit different. Most of the actual major running parts are the same, but the body and the way it's set up is a little bit different. The other thing to notice with this is they come with lights as well, which is pretty cool. You don't get lights on the other one, and you get a spare wheel, which you don't get on the others. But what they do have, you can't really see them, but the shock mounts inside here are plastic on this. So one good whack to the front and you can snap a shock mount, whereas the other two are metal. You can actually, and I have, you can actually get the metal ones to go on here It's a bit of fiddling around to get the front bumpers to attach properly, but they will go on. They don't cost hardly anything, so they're worth doing. And access to the electrics and everything on here is through the little cab like that, which is, you can get to everything, but it makes it a little bit trickier as opposed to one of the buggies where you just take the top off and you can access everything. So these three cars, there's version 1s and version 2s of these. I think most of the version 1s are gone now. This is the version 1, which means that the motor, that they basically overgeared. It's the motor cogs. It's really annoying, but you know, there's not a lot you can do about it. But unless you're buying one second hand, you should be pretty alright with a version 2. Now, I don't think there's many version 1s out there. How can you tell if it's a version 1 or a version 2? Well, they've got a different colour motor mount. You've also got a different wheel on the controller. The version 1 being silver, the version 2 being blue. Now, you'd think that would be awesome, but like my 124017 had a blue controller and it was brilliant. The 144002, that had a blue controller, but it's got delay. They seem to, Wltoys have a bit of a habit of making a really good thing and then slightly messing it up. And they slightly messed it up with that one, but you know, you got to suck it and see, I'm afraid. If you get one without lag, great. If you get one with lag, you can use the old controller, which ironically doesn't lag with the new receiver. They're fairly easy to bind. So moving on, you've got the bigger buggy, which is the 104, so it's 10th scale, 4-wheel drive. The 104002 this is, which is the brushless one, and they do the one which is brushed. This is not the same as the other vehicles. It looks fairly similar, but everything's bigger, so it is a sort of standalone car. It's got a centre spool gear inside here, and the weakness on these is the chassis is quite weak, so it flexes. So it's possible to flex it enough for the prop shafts to come out. You can buy a kit that goes on it aftermarket to fix that. It's not a lot of money, but you know, it's just something to think about. And the wheels and tyres I've changed. They were these. They're only really good for sort of carpet, really, whereas these were a bit better for off-road. And they make this a pretty good car. The brushless one's pretty fast, it's pretty quick, it goes well. There's not many weaknesses on it. The turnbuckles here have a habit of popping off, but they do only pop off. You pop them back on and away you go again. Again, metal chassis, pretty good. This one, the 104019, yes, 10th scale, but it isn't. It's more like a 12 scale. This is a really cool little truck. I brushless converted mine. I took it to a skate park. I bashed it to pieces. If you go back and look at those videos, you can see all the things I did with this. It's brilliant. The only problem is it's a little bit harder to get parts for, whereas you can get the parts for these on Amazon. This you probably still have all sort of bang good getting parts for, which means to take a bit of time. And the problem it's got is it's got metal suspension arms and a plastic chassis. And what that does is the arms are very strong, but the force goes through here, and I broke my chassis. And changing the chassis is just a bit of a pain. The chassis was cheap enough, it's £5.30, but a bit of a pain. They've just brought out a brushless version of this. Hopefully the parts start to find their way through like the others do. It's only because more of these have been bought, and then we'll be able to get more parts for this, and then this would probably be the best one. What else have I been asked? Batteries. So these will take a little tiny battery. It's a 2200 mAh like this. Sometimes they have a little 1500 battery, which is about that big. Both are capable. The 1500 will give about 10 minutes. This one probably 15, maybe 20, depending how you go. And I say they're very fast and they're very durable for what they are, but they are still a cheap RC car. These are sort of float around the 100 mark, 120 mark. These I think are about £100. These are quite expensive, 150, 160 quid last time I looked. Is it worth spending the extra money for a bigger car? If you want a bigger car, yeah. Other than that, no, I'd stick with one of these. Right, other problems. There's no real problems. All I was going to say was the binding thing. So, for those of you who want to know how to rebind a controller, if you look on the receiver here, you'll see there's a small button. If you push that button in and hold it, with the battery in obviously, push that button in and hold it, turn the power on, then turn your controller on, it will bind. It's as simple as that, and away you go. That's all you need to do. So, which one is my favourite? Which one would I buy out of all the ones I've got? It depends a little bit. If you're just going to buy a car and you're just going to use it, you're going to have an introduction to RC, you're just going to play with it, and then when you've had enough of it, buy something else, I would go for the 144002. It's a good little car, it's fast, it's beautiful, it looks beautiful, parts are cheap. It takes the batteries, takes the 2S, takes the 3S, it's like 40-50 mile an hour, it's fabulous. But it's not my favourite. Oh, it is my favourite. No, it's not my favourite. If I was going to go for one and you were going to do any kind of, you know, keep it for a long while and try and tune it up, make it better, I would go for the 124017. And the reason I say the 124017 is because with it being a little bit longer, you can get things like Fat Bodies Beetle bodies that fit on this. It's supposed to fit on that. It will to a point, but it doesn't really fit on that. It does fit on this very well, just because it's that little bit longer. Also, if you've watched my channel since the start, I'm not getting out this year, you can even make a speedrun car. This is Dave, my speedrunner. Put some foams on him, and I think I got 75 mile an hour out of that. It's got a skin on there. You can get a skins from Armour Skin, another little cool thing you can do to them. So that is my speedrunner. I say I would get the brushless ones over the brushed ones, mainly because they've got an independent independent receiver and electronic speed controller, so you can change bits about a lot easier without having to change everything. Steering servos, you can buy upgraded steering servos, but the standard ones are pretty cool, really. They're only a little small light car. You can also buy Fat Bodies, is where you get them from the UK. I believe they ship worldwide. You can also get different spoilers. I've got one there, and there's actually two in there. I've not cut them up yet, I don't think, with them. That's why a lot of these cars haven't got spoilers on. There are 12mm hex on the wheels, so you can put an array of wheels on them. I mean, you could even put something like that. That's a 12mm hex. Well, I don't know why you would, because it probably wouldn't move because the motor's not strong enough. But you could do it. Or these, which may or may not be for my Beetle. Keep tuned. But other than that, they're a brilliant little car. You see them everywhere. I see people with these all over the place. They're small enough you can chuck them in a bag. As I always say, you can go for a walk with the kids, go for a walk with the family. And if you find somewhere that looks like it could be bashed, get your car out, turn it on, chuck it on the floor, and away you go. That's it for this one, really, guys. I just thought I'd do a little bit of a test on Wltoys. A lot of people ask me questions. I think I've answered the main ones. The batteries I run in them are these little 2250 Sunpowder batteries that come from Amazon. I'll try and put you a link down below, but Amazon doesn't really like me for some reason. But if I can, I can. That's the 3S battery. It will just fit in there. You have to just Velcro them. I put a bit of Velcro across the battery and I Velcro it in because the strap's not long enough. You could buy a longer strap, but they will take that battery, or you can just run them on the standard one. I mean, the standard battery is pretty quick. 40 mile an hour in one of these, or one of these, perfectly fine. So that's it, guys. Have you got one? If you have, which one have you got? Why did you go for that one? If you haven't got one, which one do you like the look of? They're all good. Every single one of them will do you a fantastic job and a brilliant introduction to RC, or another option if you've already got an RC, just to be extra cool. But I don't know, which one do you like, guys? Any more questions, ask down below as always. I'll do my best to answer them for you. That said, that's it really for this one, guys. I'm not going to take them all out, well, not in this video anyway, because it would be like half an hour long. But I've took them all out before. You can go back and have a look. This one will be taken out soon because I've bought some HD drive shafts for it, and I want to see if they bend as easily as the old ones. And the 124017 that I've had to put back to this for this video, we'll go back to Billy's Beetle, and we're just going to get those wheels on it, and we're going to see if those wheels look cool. Anyway, guys, if you're still looking for a car for the summer, the financial times at the moment are bad. You know, we've got a cost of living crisis, everything's going up through the roof, including our RC cars, unfortunately. These are still pretty cheap. Certainly cheap enough you can get one, have fun, take your mind off the money worries, guys, and think about something more expensive next year. That's it really, that's it for this one. Thanks, guys. My name's Ben, this is Noob RC. I'll see you in the next one.